the station where our veterans' voices are heard, MBR Talk.
Hey, thanks for tuning in. Welcome, Quack.
Program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
Welcome to Hot Takes with me, hosted by the Murph Man, where life gets real and the mic stays hot. That's right, your favorite is experienced, yeah. That's smart and funny guy. From classroom talk to comedy clubs, Murph Man breaks it down with brainy thuds. Parenting stress or college mess, he's been through it all, no need to guess. Insights are sharp and data's tight. Rants are ready and the jokes are light. Turn it up, this show is hot. Honest, funny, maybe loud. Never scared to stand out proud. When life gets real, the mic stays warm. Hosted by the dad with lots of charm. Insights are sharp and data's tight. Alerts already and the joke's online. Talk, keeping it true. From high school halls to podcast queues, live a little, learn a lot. Turn it up, this show is hot. Grab your coffee and let's get into it. No filter, no fluff, just real talk. Let's do it. Ready or not, here we go. It's time for Murph Man to start the show.
In a world drowning in data and dread, two men rise, not as saviors or scholars, but as the Murph Man and Connor. Witness their journey as they navigate the treacherous waters of, well, whatever they feel like talking about. Prepare for Hot Takes with the Murph Man, where opinions are strong, facts are optional, and personal experiences are the name of the game. They're not experts, but they play them on this show. Their passion isn't a performance, it's who they are. And sometimes that authenticity means a little adult language might slip out. They apologize for that ahead of time, promising to keep it minimal, but their reactions are always genuine. Now grab your coffee, sit back, and enjoy the show. Here are the Murph Man and Connor.
Welcome to Hot Takes with the Murph Man. I am the Murph Man. I'm here with Connor. How are we doing today, Connor?
Good. How are we doing today?
Good. Starting October off pretty good, right? Yeah, it's fun. I gotta tell you guys, October, Breast Awareness Month. That's why we wear pink. We have Team Crush Cancer. So if you haven't done it, ladies, make sure you get your annual exams and do your monthly self exams because it's very important. We lost my mom, my wife, his mom, to cancer, and we're trying not to. We're trying to spread the word on breast cancer awareness. So wear pink in October. It's not because we're mean girls on Wednesdays. October 3rd. What? I can't make a Mean Girls reference? Nothing. No. When I used to work at one of the schools, I was wearing pink one day, and the girl comes over to me and goes, "Oh, Mean Girls?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" She goes, "You're wearing pink for Mean Girls." I said, "No, I'm wearing pink because it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month." And she was like, "What?" She people don't know. But you guys make sure you get those exams and everything. Anything else going on with you, Connor?
No, nothing much. October's just been really chill, technically.
Okay, good. Last night I was at Art Space exhibit gallery. We had an exhibition with artists and stuff. You can catch that on our stream915.com. We have the replays over there, so you guys go check that out. That was a lot of fun talking to all the artists and everything. here in town. Went around and interviewed them, and I'm doing things with Stream 915. So pretty cool,
Nice.
pretty cool. But we do have a surprise. We have a guest with us today,
Hi.
Trina. For those of you who might remember Trina from last week, she was in our chat and she reached out to us, and I said, if you ever want to come on, she's like, I want to be on. So Trina, welcome to the Hot Takes with the Murphman podcast. How are we doing today?
I'm doing good, and it's my pleasure to be here and invited by our amazing podcast speaker, especially Murphman and Connor. It was a great, grateful experience.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your feedback. You're our first official fan, right? I do want to tell you, go ahead, introduce yourself so that people know who you are, and you're just a college student, but you're a little more than that. Go ahead. The stage is yours.
Okay, thank you. So, good day, everyone. So, I am Katrina Pepito. I am from Cebu, Philippines, and I'm studying at Cebu Technological University. I'm a scholar and a third year college student, and my course is Bachelor of Science Hospitality Management, which is more likely to culinary skills. And I hope, guys, that you have a good day or night in your place. So thank you so much.
Yeah, right now it's 10 o'clock here, but it's 12 o'clock midnight where she's at. So appreciate
Yes,
you for this. So you live in the Cebu, Philippines. You were affected by the earthquake, right?
yes, very much. Our
You want to
city
talk?
is affected. So to those who's watching right now who have a kind heart, our organization is making or already donate some goods to those affected people, but still we would need your another I mean, like, we will need your kind heart again to support us, our organization, to give another donation. If any amount will do, but it's okay that you will not give, but as long as, guys, that you will also pray for our city, because really our city is really affected. But thank you so much for Mr. Murpman and Connor for giving me a chance, because it was unexpected. Thank you.
Well, you're welcome. You're welcome. And I wanted you to put your link for your organization in the chat if you wanted to, so that you could get that
Sure.
out there. So you all be looking for that in the chat. It will be in there, so you can definitely do that. Let me see here if I can show it. Okay, whenever you put it, I'll put it up there. But yeah, so Trina came on last week and she was just like, hey, I find this interesting and everything. And I'm like, okay, well, that's great. We talked a little bit through the chat, and I'm glad you're here today to share this information. I'm glad you can use this platform to share your story as well. That was a point any tsunamis or anything happen?
I can't hear earlier. What did you say, Mr. Murphan?
I was saying the earthquake that hit was 6.9, and that's a big earthquake. How did it affect your city?
It affects mentally and physically, especially to those people who are not ready. I mean, like, we're not ready for that type of natural disaster. And it was totally unexpected because it happened at exactly 9:59 p.m., which is mostly the people in our city is sleeping. So the shake of the earthquake is very so strong, because like the houses, the belt of the other houses, the other bridge, it collapsed.
Oh no. And a bridge is so
True.
important because it literally spans two areas, and sometimes that's the only access those people have.
Very true, Mervman, because there's a one bridge that connected, which is Bugu City, is the epicenter or the fault line of the earthquake. They really experience a lot of damage, like the street has been cracked, and there's a lot of lives sadly there's a lot of lives has been, I cannot say the word because it was so sad. Like there's a lot of people died on that night during the earthquake.
And that's very unfortunate that that happened. I'm sorry that disasters like that happen. I've been involved.
I already got it.
I've been involved in a lot of disasters in the army. I was a behavioral science specialist that would go out and we would deal with the local soldiers and everything. But when we had uh, certain disasters, we would go out there. And one of the disasters I was part of was the tornado that hit Gerald, Texas. It was a tornado that lasted, I think, an hour and 20 minutes. Came all the way from Waco, all the way down to like North Austin. I know you don't know the areas, but I'm just people here might know it. And it was an F5 tornado, and it destroyed everything in its path. And to see that kind of devastation is amazing. And I can't imagine an earthquake that's 6.9 hitting in the middle of a city. That's just
That's true, Mervman. But
you
we're doing our best, because the students here and the other families here, they collect their all of their money, their food, just to give their relief goods or donation, because they really experience lack of, I mean, like water supply, because their water supply has been destroyed during the earthquake. And our government also is trying, but we don't, because we Cebuanos, or what we call people here in our city, are doesn't believe in our government. So that's why we do an action using our own health, our own I mean our own money. So yes.
you know, and that's one thing I've noticed, that a lot of communities come together to work when things like this happen. You know, there's disasters all over the world, and we need to know that people out there care about what's happening, and people out there want to help. Everyone says, throw money at a problem. Yeah, everyone can donate, but that doesn't really help with people on the ground. You know, here in El Paso, personally, I've been involved in three floods. One is minor, second one, about 5 inches of water. But the third one, the whole city, we had a 100-year flood. We were underwater. The whole city was just horrible. And, they threw money at the project. They're like, we need to do this and this. We got to do more infrastructure. We got to do this. It hasn't fixed anything. It's not, but that flood only happens once every 100 years. You can't prepare for that. And I remember here in El Paso, we're nowhere near water. Okay, if you look at El Paso on a map, the closest water is 2.5 hours away, where you can actually, ride a boat and stuff. We have a local lake, but that's nothing. Um, I saw the people that were being rescued in the houses with boats. There's a lot of
Yes.
people who have boats. They actually took their boats out into the streets to rescue people from their houses. And we don't even have water here, so I don't know where all those boats came from. I don't know if they came in from other areas or what. But
Oh,
to see people pull together like that is amazing. It really is.
yeah, truly.
You know, um, it's one of those things when you think about it, that you don't realize all the help that's needed when things happen. Now, I will tell you this, one thing I have also is you're putting drugs in the Philippines. I've been able to do it in the United States. It doesn't matter where we are. We all need to come forward. And you were saying you're studying hospitality management, right?
Yes.
Wait, does your school like do like lunches or anything for anybody like
Ah,
during disaster?
yes. Yes, our school did not let us, I mean, like our school changed our class type, like it turns into asynchronous, so that we have a lot of time for preparation, especially those students who are living on that city, which has been the center of the fault. So our school really give a lot of time, which is mental break. And also our school gives some opportunities to to different org, and which is our org is part of it. They give us opportunity to donate and give some support and doing or helping those people who have been affected, especially Bugu City, and allowing us also to visit personally to the places to give our donation. So I'm grateful our school also support and also give us more time to help the city that has been affected.
That's great that the university that you're with is actually helping everybody. That's one thing that people don't realize, that corporations can come in and help as well. You know, we try to, like I said, we throw money at a problem, but what really matters is the people that make that decision. And
Yes.
the fact that everyone's pulling together, helping everybody, doing what you can, because like you have electricity. Some people don't even have electricity. That means the refrigerators don't work. That means their food's going to spoil. Some people don't have gas, so they can't turn on their stove. Some people don't have water. There's basic necessities. There's a thing called Maslow's hierarchy of needs, which talks about the needs you need to have in order to become self-actualized. And the first thing is you need your basic needs met, right? Then after that, you have your safety and security needs, which means once you have food and a place to live and food, shelter and all of that, you can start, you got to stabilize it, make it safe, make it secure. Then once that's all done, relationships, things of that nature. And then you go to the self-esteem stage, which basically says, looking back on everything you've done, and you're either proud of it or you're not, right? If you got into that stage, hopefully you have some good self-esteem. And then the self-actualization means all your needs are met. But none of that matters unless you get the basic needs met. So that's the first thing the community has to do, is get those basic needs met: water, electricity, gas, make sure everyone's health, safety. And that's what you guys are doing, so that's really good that you're able to do those things.
Yes, because we Filipinos believe that helping one another is what make us resilient, because we are a family here in the Philippines. Even you have a different gender, color, nationality, religion, we always prioritize like helping each other. Whatever happened to you, or whatever, even that you don't have that kind of thing, but you are capable of helping, that's, well, you can help. So that's what our Filipino, I think, habit, or maybe I think it's already part in our blood.
Well,
Being
I'm glad you guys are coming together and helping each other out. That's so
yes,
important to us. And you're okay. You and your family are okay.
yes, but hopefully I'm so thankful to God that my mom and my sister here are fine, because our house is full of concrete. And at that time, I was going at home. I was in, I do call it, transportation area. I was going to ride my I think my, I was going to ride a bus, but and then the earthquake suddenly moved or shake. It's very strong, so it makes me panic. But hopefully, my mom and sister are safe, because actually we are three
Really,
sisters.
really, that's great. You guys are so close, and I'm glad you all are safe. I'll tell you what, we're gonna take a quick break, and when we come back, we're gonna talk about your questions that you have about college. Okay,
Sure, sure. I'm so excited about this.
we'll be right back.
It's time for a break. Hot Takes with the Murph Man will return after these messages.
At Military Broadcast Radio, the goal is to offer a platform for mental health advocacy while connecting the military community through various media platforms. Founded by U.S. Army veteran Joel Hunt, MBR gives a voice to veterans, first responders, and their families through streaming radio, podcast, video, and outreach events. With its leadership run completely by veterans and hosts of the diverse programming from all branches of service, MBR was created as a response to the silent battles veterans face after service. Military Broadcast Radio is also a Wreaths Across America partner, hosting a $5 backed sponsorship group page. For every veterans wreath sponsored through the Military Broadcast Radio page, MBR receives $5 back to help support their platforms and outreach. Veteran and first responder stories need to be told and shared. And with your support, MBR can continue to bring together veteran nonprofits, mental health organizations, and government agencies to bridge the gap between veterans and vital resources. To find out more and donate, visit wreathsacrossamerica.org/MBR.
Take a moment, take your time, let it set right. Let it drive right down in your conscious tight. Lean into the better times. 'Cause in a minute, in a moment, you'll notice a shining light. One that draws you in from deep inside. Reach out and connect tonight. Something that comes to you, trails that lead us to and through, elevate to new. 'Cause there's a second, there's a session, there's something that holds them tight. Let you see this world through brand new eyes. Reach out and connect tonight. You know my name. What colors do you see? Influence reality. Figures and shapes, alive for you and me. Influence reality. Why won't you wake up? 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 You know my name. Figures and shapes, alive for you and me. Influence reality. Why won't you wake up? 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 Why won't you wake up?
Before we jump back in, a quick reminder of where to find us. For all the short clips and highlights, make sure you're following us on social media. You can find all the show details on our website, purehottakes.com. And for full show replays and exclusive premium content you won't hear anywhere else, be sure to subscribe at stream915.com.
That's right. Stream915.com. Look for the Hot Takes with the Murphman channel. We'll be coming on there this week, and you can find us. You can also go to our website, purehottakes.com. And you have all our social medias. Make sure you like and subscribe. And I also want to point out the wreaths across America. For those of you that don't know what that commercial was, you can buy wreaths to lay on the grave of someone in a national cemetery. And I'm going to actually have one for my wife and one for my father, who are both in national cemeteries. And it's doesn't cost much. Donate. If you need more information, I'll put that on my website tomorrow. It'll be there, so you can check it out. And Trina, we're back. Thank you for coming again. Thanks for sticking around after the break. So I wanted to know, last week you were telling us you learned some things about whatever we were talking about, which is the extracurricular stuff. But this week we're talking about volunteer, maybe do extracurriculars, or just focus on school. And you seem to be doing a few of those things. So I'm wondering, what's your take on that? What do you think about working and all of that aside from your school?
Uh, doing those activities, circular or volunteering, it was for me it was so hard to manage my time and also choosing what's best for what's the best action that I could do for that. And it was I called mixed emotion doing those activities and volunteers because there's some time I'm doing those other activities. It make me happy, but there's some activities also there's sometimes that I question myself, why did I do or I join on that kind of activities.
Well, I don't know exactly which groups you signed up for, but what I think is interesting is like people who play sports, they have practice every day, not just the one day. They have practice every day. And then some sports have games 2, 3 times a week, So yeah, it's one thing to be part of a club but when you're in an organization like you are volunteering, you're doing something every day. When you're doing sports, you're doing something every day. And that's not easy to keep doing your work and everything.
Yes,
I
very
last
true.
Yeah, last week we were talking about you and your college and your hospitality management and everything you're learning and what you're doing. And I said, well, what other questions do you have? Just in general, if there was anything that you had in mind that you want to try to get answered.
Right now, the question or my concern about being a college student is I would like to ask Mr. Werfman how to be confident in doing some extracurricular activities in college because sometimes I lost my confidence because of it might be I see that someone is gonna seeing me as a role model and I feel pressured about that, then it gives me or it decreases my confidence knowing that they see me as a role model, which is I don't see myself as a better person.
Okay, definitely I can do that. And part of that is a self-esteem. You want to have the self-esteem where you can value yourself. Okay. You want to value what you do. You want to value everything. Remember, right now I was talking about Maslow. We talked about the needs and expert med- expert field medical badge, EFMB. And the first time they sent me out there, I was barely at a new unit. I hadn't even had my household goods shipped. We were living in a hotel. I didn't want to be there. I didn't care. That one doesn't count in my book. But the second time I went, I wanted to do well. I wanted to pass it. I wanted to do everything I needed to do, right? I went out there confident that I was going to pass. Okay, confident. I was like, I am there. The first test I failed. I was doing an IV and I forgot to put the bag of IV fluid into the hose. Like that's a basic thing. able to do everything. I was too- I knew what I was doing coming up with that. So I knew it. It's one thing to be confident and think you know, and it also to actually know. You know what I'm saying? So when people are looking up to you, they don't know what you know. Remember that. You can be confident after anything, or confident and confident. Okay? So ask yourself, whatever they're looking up to you for, are you competent in that? I'll ask you, what do you think is competent?
Mm, I appreciate the all your thoughts and sharing, Mr. Workman.
Thank you.
And okay, okay. Because I couldn't hear a little bit. There's a
Are you,
static a little bit.
are you having trouble hearing us?
Ah, yes.
Okay. I don't know if it's your connection. Let me turn. Does that help you hear us better?
Ah, yes,
Can you hear me
yes.
better there?
Now, yes.
Okay. Is that better?
Ah, yes, it was better.
All right. I wish you had said something sooner. I would have been able to do that. Let me turn down my headphones. All right. So you can hear us better there. That's great. Um, the where do you think you're competent? Like, what are they looking up to you for? What's the subject that they're seeing and able to look up to you for? Do you feel that you know what they're looking for?
Yeah, based on what I observed, they see me or a type of person that's very independent and who always stand and very friendly. That's my what I observe about myself.
Okay. And that's great. You're a social person, right? I think you're
Yes.
social and you're dedicated to what you do. So you should feel proud of all of that. You should feel very proud about that because you never know what's going to happen and you need to have some kind of a baseline, a foundation of yourself. Okay. And you have that. You have the family ties, you have the social ties, you have the friend ties. That is all very important to make you a well-rounded person. We talked about that last week, right? Well-rounded, you know.
Yes.
And you're going to college and you're a junior, you're going to be graduating next year and you're going to enter the workforce and you'll be making money, hopefully making lots of money. You know, but more importantly, will you enjoy it?
Yes, true. Actually, the reason why I chose my course and I'm doing my best is because in the future, I really want to make a foundation just for kids, and I also plan that I will not start a family in the future because right now I am in NBS, which is no boyfriend since birth, because I prioritize my goals, which is to make a foundation, and I will probably in the future see myself that I am helping with other people than making than being a normal person.
Being a normal person, is that what you said?
Yes.
Now, you said NBSF
B.
or S, NBSB,
B.
NBSB. Did you hear what she said about that, Connor? She's an NBSB.
No buttons.
No boyfriend since birth.
Oh yeah. Okay. I heard M. I don't know.
I've never heard that before. No boyfriend since birth. NBSB.
Yeah.
I have never heard that. That's Trina, that's one thing I've never heard in my life. Never.
Oh, that's a
Wow.
new Gen Z word.
That maybe. What do you think? Is it a Gen Z thing?
Don't ask me.
Well, he
Mm.
hates Gen Z. Um, I'm so shocked at that. Okay, hold on. Let me gather my thoughts here. One thing Connor can tell you that I did this. I told him, I don't care if you date, but date to have fun, not to get serious. Okay. One of the things that happens is I told him when you go to high school, all the people that you dated are going to be with you for 4 years. So dating in middle school, right? And you break up with them, you go to high school, you're gonna see them for 4 more years still, most of the time, right? And then you're gonna date someone else, and it turns out that this person dated this person, and before you know it, all of you dated each other, and it gets really mixed up and it gets lots of drama. And then I said, when you go to college, don't get serious with anybody because when you get to graduate, you have to decide whether you're going to leave town or come back. Like, for example, you might have a boyfriend and get serious, and then you end up getting a job in Japan. And your boyfriend says, I don't want to go to Japan. So you break up, right? That's not a good thing either. So when you say no boyfriend since birth, I'm like, okay, I understand that and focus on other things. I get that, and it might be a culture thing, but at the same time, you gotta have a partner in life. You gotta have a partner,
I don't believe in that.
You don't?
Yes,
Wow.
I really prioritize my academics, which is my school and my family. So that's why my classmate always or my friend keep asking me, "Do you already have a boyfriend?" No, I don't really have a time for that. Like I have an admirers, but I don't really believe in that kind of thing. I prefer to
And,
focus on my career.
and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. But here's one of the things I'm going to caution you on, okay? When you do start dating, all right, you're behind the curve because everyone else has experience and you don't. And that's going to be something you got to be aware of at the beginning. Take everything slowly and don't jump into it feet first. You want to take your steps, go slow and everything. That's my advice to you. My first marriage, I think I jumped into it a little too quickly, although I don't regret it. I was married 13 years. You know, that's a long time.
Whoa, that's a long
And my
time.
second marriage, um, I was dating her for like a year and a half to 2 years before we got married, and I was with her almost 11 years before she passed away. And now
Whoa, that's very
I'm by
long.
myself, right? And at my age, what's really interesting is you have people that live by them. I've been living by myself. I don't mean by myself, but like no girlfriend or anything real serious, living with or nothing like that for 10 years. You know, I've dated a people, up to 9 months, 1 year, things of that nature, but not um, real serious. Because at our age, we are so used to being single, we don't want to bring anyone into our life.
True.
All right. Now, what's another thing that's funny is I tell people who are like your age right now, okay, you live with your family. All right. When you get your own apartment, you're going to want to do things your own way, right? You want to put the couch where you want to put it. You want to put the table. You want to do your bedroom, your closet, whatever you want to do your own way, right? And then
Yes.
you're going to meet somebody and you're going to move in together maybe, right? And get married and all that good stuff. Wait a minute. You're going to be like, no, hold on. I like the sink with all my makeup on it. I like my towels hung up this way. My shoes are left in the living room. I don't know what your habits are, right? But the thing is, the other person's going to be like, no, that's not how we do things here. So you have to learn to compromise. Okay, I'm going to caution you. That's going to be the hardest thing because moving in together, you got to combine your lives, right? And
Yes.
the way you're used to living with your family is different when you live by yourself, and it's different when you have a partner, and it changes one more time when you have kids. Because now, for example, I'm sitting, I don't know, like an example. I don't do this, but some people get out of the shower and they air dry. They walk out naked all around their home until they're dry. You can't do that when you have kids. You can't, it's like you can't be walking around your kids naked. I don't think you should. In
Absolutely.
certain ages, it's one thing, right? Um, there's so many different things that you got to be aware of. So, you have one way you live with a family, one way you live by yourself, one way you live with your partner, and one way you live with your kids. And that's just one of those things that you got to be aware of. And here's another thing: you're going to finish college. Excuse me. You're going to finish college and start a relationship and do whatever you're going to do with your life, right? If you decide to go back to school, the person you're with has to be aware of that because you're not going to be home a lot because you're going to be going to school because you're going to be working and you're going to go to school. right? Unless you find yourself like a rich guy or a rich girl to date and they can take care of you and you can do all this stuff. But otherwise, you have to work and you have to go to school. When do you have time for your partner? And then throw kids in the mix? Forget it. Get your degree done before you do any of that. That's the advice I've given him. That's the advice I'm giving you.
Thank
Get
you for
your
that
life in order.
advice.
Get your life in order before you do all that social stuff. So,
Oh,
and
yes.
no boyfriend since birth. That's wow.
Yes, because sometimes I always think that if ever like God will give me the right person, I should be ready. Like I should be a rich like prepared, already have a family planning. But mostly I prefer to be single until I become old because I'm not really in the relationship. I really want to focus on what I like, especially like I want to enjoy being traveling, traveling singly or solo, and also I want to focus helping my family, and also make my foundation the future like for the kids because I'm a type of person who really care for others, and I really don't I'm not a I really am not a selfish person like I I don't know how to explain this, but I prefer to be single until until 40s or 50s like that.
Until 40s or 50s. I'm telling you right now that when you do this, okay, there's no problem being single until you die. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay, there's nothing wrong with that. When
Yes.
when you get older and your family is gone and your friends all have their own families, it gets a little lonely. It gets a little lonely. Okay, so you need to have people around you. Okay, now if you have an organization and everything, that's all fine and dandy, but you do need someone in your life. We're social people, so you want to have someone in your life. That's something that you don't have to be married, right? But you can date. You don't have to get married.
Oh yes, that was absolutely true. That's it. Right now, maybe my the way my how I think or my mindset. Obviously, I'm really into cats, but maybe at the right time, maybe my mindset will be changed or how the way I look life it is. But thank you for that advice. It was
Again, you don't have to do anything I'm saying. Okay,
helpful.
like our
Yes.
disclaimer says, we're not experts on life. We just pretend we are. Um,
So it was helpful actually. Like the last time you give an advice on what I commented, it was really helpful because at that time because I was just watching random videos in YouTube. Then I just unexpectedly saw a live which is Pure Hot Takes MRB YouTube, I think YouTube page. Then I just when I opened it, oh my gosh, like I was totally shocked because I'm really curious about that kind of topic, like about college, giving advice because no one can give me advice here in our home or in my school because really people tend see me that I'm very independent or who knows a lot. So that's why I'm a type of person who really like to listen to those people who are more experienced than me in terms of life. So that's why yeah, that's it.
well, thank you very much for that. And, the fact that you're independent is great. The fact that you're independent is so amazing. And once you're on your own by yourself and independent and not dependent on anybody else, that's a really powerful thing. So I do wish you luck with that. Now, one thing we do have to do here, at some point, we have to get to our show. So I think we need to go to break in a little bit. Let me see what time it is. Yeah, we got about, we're going to go to break real quick. And when we come back, we're going to start the show. And hold on. When we come back, we're going to start the show. You're welcome to stick around if you want and, be backstage or jump in whenever you want. Okay. What do you think about that?
I'm sure it is the best. Is it up to you? I will let you guys decide because I'm just good in any decision. But I will keep
Okay.
listening. Yes.
Well, yeah, you can keep listening. If you want to be in backstage, you can be. And then if you want to join us, just type in the chat. I want to come on camera and talk about something. You want to do that?
Yes, yes, yes.
All right. Well, when we come back, it's time to ignite the fuse.
It's time for a break. Hot Takes with the Murph Man will return after these messages.
Another regular day, nobody knows. It's that time he's coming home to them from a foreign land. He pulls up, his mama cries, looks at daddy with tears in his eyes and says, nothing feels better than this. Couple of months go by and no one sees. Something just ain't right, only wants his peace. He needs help, but he don't know the path to take or the way to go to be free and put his mind at ease. We will help, 'cause we can't stand to see a soldier go to God by their own hands. We will do everything we can to make 22 0 again. He gets help, but he still feels off. Sees an ad on the TV about a dog batting said, this is a man's best friend. Whoa, so he goes one day and he picks it up. Never thought a dog could bring so much love and put a smile on his face. Was finally found a saving grace. He needs help, but he don't know the path to take or the way to go to be free. Put his mind at ease. We will help, 'cause we can't stand to see a soldier go to God by their own hands. We will do everything we can to make 22 0 again. Whoa, whoa. He needs help, but he don't know the path to take or the way to go to be free. Put his mind at ease. We will help, 'cause we can't stand to see a soldier go to God by their own hands. We will do everything we can to make 22 0 again.
The station where our veterans' voices are heard. MBR Talk.
Hey, thanks for supporting our channel by watching and listening.
Find us on the web at mbradio.net.
All right, we are back, you guys. It's time to ignite the fuse.
Welcome to Hot Takes with the Murph Man. In today's episode number 9, work, clubs, or volunteering. Choosing the right high school path. Today we're talking about a crucial choice for high schoolers. How to spend your time outside of class. There's no one-size-fits-all path. Whether it's a part-time job, a club, or community service, each experience builds different skills. This episode helps students choose what fits their goals and energy. Now, back to the Murph Man.
All right, we're back, you guys. I gotta tell you, we are discussing the extracurricular stuff that we're doing. And it's one of those things that what's one of the camera? God damn it. There we go. Sorry about that. Today we're going to be talking about the issue of extracurricular activities, whether you should volunteer, whether you should work, whether it should be in clubs. Okay, it's one of those things that it depends on you. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. We just got through talking with Trina. She was a student from the Philippines, and we talked about a lot of things with her. So we're looking. Excuse me. We're doing a lot of things here, you guys, today. So, but let's go ahead and let's get this started. Let's jump right into the question of the day, which is the burning question.
Today's question is related to our main topic of choosing the right activities in high school. Here it is. What are skills like communication, teamwork, and time management called, which can be developed in a job, a club, or volunteering and apply to any future career? Is it A, civic engagement skills? Maybe it is B, job-specific skills, or C, transferable skills. Could it be C, transferable skills? And finally, could it be D, gaining experience that looks good on a resume? I'll give you some time to think about it. Now, back to the Murph Man.
All right. So we have earning the paycheck, learning to manage time between school and work, developing customer service, or gaining experience, basically is what it comes down to. And the answer is B, manage time between school and work. Okay. Although school is important, a part-time job, and by job, I mean something extracurricular. Could be work, could be volunteering, could be clubs. That's treated like a job. It forces you to learn prioritization and scheduling, which is very important. And it's a transferable skill that you can use at any time in your life. Okay, anywhere you go, you can always do that. And of course, the paycheck is a temporary reward, but your skills are for a lifetime. You know, and Connor, you had a job for a while, right?
For like almost a year, yeah.
And it was really hard for you to do school and work, and you focus on school and you let your work go. And you were able to do that. And your senior year, but you still volunteered 300 or 285 hours, whatever it was, doing your stuff.
Yeah.
So that's still a lot of work, because you were going 5 days a week and then games on, sometimes on Saturdays, right?
Mm-hmm.
So did that teach you anything about scheduling and prioritizing anything in your life?
A little bit. It just helped me get a routine down of what I need to do and what I need to focus on throughout the day and the week.
And how is those skills transferred to college now?
It helped me with time management.
How are you implementing it?
Well, I know how long it takes to get to each class. I know when I have a break, when I need to go back. I mean, that's really it.
This week our car was in the shop and you had to take the bus a couple times and a couple of Ubers and stuff. How was that for you?
I didn't like it.
Talk about it.
The website for the buses, they give us a route, but it was so like behind and just not on schedule, and it like messed me up. So I had to like get there at a certain time and wait just for the next bus to come in. So
And that's the thing, you know. He planned ahead. He was out there early because the bus ride is like an hour and 20 minutes, give or take, right?
almost 2
Depending on
hours,
which route
yeah,
you take.
almost 2 hours.
The bus runs late. He being the responsible party he is, he's like, I'm gonna call an Uber. And he called an Uber and they got there even before the bus got there,
hmm
you know. Um, and then in the afternoon, was that the same day?
What?
The Uber in the morning and Uber in the afternoon?
No, I got an Uber in the morning only.
Okay. But you were gonna call an Uber yesterday.
Yeah.
So Connor calls me. He's like, can you help me out here? Because what I'm looking at is not helping me. And I said, what are you doing? He goes, I'm going to the Sun Metro website and it tells me I have no routes running at this time. And I was like, what are you talking about? The routes are always running. It's a weekday. There's no reason. There's no holiday. There's no nothing. And I said, you might want here, go to Google Maps, right?
Mhm.
And the Sun Metro map and the trip planner that they have is a great thing because it actually shows you where the buses are, right? But the timing was off. And that's one of the things that he got stuck with was he went out there on the time. He walked out there waiting for the bus to arrive and he had missed it because the bus was early in this case. I don't know. You probably missed it by like 5 minutes, you know?
5, 7 minutes, yeah.
Yeah. And what's crazy is you're right next to the transfer station. So that should be a time spot, whatever reason the bus left, you know? And, you know, he calls me, he's like, can you help me out here? Because what I'm seeing on my stuff is not right. Let me see what you say. And we were able to figure it out. But it still took a long time to get home, you know? So prioritizing everything. He stayed at school to do his work, and then he came home. And you're doing a real good job with that, right? How are your classes going?
They're good. Not they're a little hard, but I have friends to help me out, study and all that.
It's getting harder now, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's college. Starts off easy and gets hard,
Uh-huh.
you know. But right now, let's get to the core of the episode with today's hot take.
Today's hot take is, there is no single best path through high school. Whether you get a part-time job, join a club, or volunteer, the value comes from the skills you build and what you learn about yourself, not from the activity itself.
All right. So yeah, you want to be aware of that, okay? You want to be aware that the path sometimes are a myth. The real hot take is that every high school student should be a little of each. You want to have a little bit of a job. You want to have a part-time job, a club, volunteer. You want to be well-rounded. I've said that so many times, being a well-rounded person, okay? And once you learn how to do all of that and get a taste of everything, your college application will look much better. Your college application looks so much better because you chose all of it. And that's what's important. It's not just, I did this for 4 years. You know, we talked about this last week, the extracurricular stuff. You want to be well-rounded. You want to have a variety because it also exposes you to life. And that's so, so important. So think about that while we take a quick break.
It's time for a break. Hot Takes with the Murph Man will return after these messages.
At Military Broadcast Radio, the goal is to offer a platform for mental health advocacy while connecting the military community through various media platforms. Founded by U.S. Army veteran Joel Hunt, MBR gives a voice to veterans, first responders, and their families through streaming radio, podcast, video, and outreach events. With its leadership run completely by veterans and hosts of the diverse programming from all branches of service, MBR was created as a response to the silent battles veterans face after service. Military Broadcast Radio is also a Wreaths Across America partner, hosting a $5 back sponsorship group page. For every veteran's wreath sponsored through the Military Broadcast Radio page, MBR receives $5 back to help support their platforms and outreach. Veteran and first responder stories need to be told and shared. And with your support, MBR can continue to bring together veteran nonprofits, mental health organizations, and government agencies to bridge the gap between veterans and vital resources. To find out more and donate, visit wreathacrossamerica.org/MBR.
Before we jump back in, a quick reminder of where to find us. For all the short clips and highlights, make sure you're following us on social media. You can find all the show details on our website, purehottakes.com. And for full show replays and exclusive premium content you won't hear anywhere else, be sure to subscribe at stream915.com.
Before we dig in, let's clarify some of the key terms we'll be using today while laying down the coals. Transferable skills, abilities like communication, teamwork, and time management that apply across jobs and careers. Civic engagement, participating in activities that benefit the community, which demonstrates empathy and social responsibility. Work-life balance, the art of managing time and energy to avoid burnout, which is a crucial skill for long-term well-being.
You know, when you get out of the Army, one thing they tell you is you have a lot of transferable skills. What does that mean? Okay, what does it mean? You learn how to take orders, you learn how to communicate, you learn how to work with the team, you learn how to manage your time. And that is something you can use in your entire life. So that's what transferable skills refers to. Of course, the civic engagement is participating in your activities in your community, and it demonstrates empathy. So like Trina was talking about, where she jumped in and she was talking about all the things she's been doing with her community and her organizations, which is great. And then, of course, you got to get a good balance. You know, you cannot do all work, you cannot do all play, you cannot do all school. You know, you got to figure out a little bit by little. And like you were saying, it taught you to figure out what you needed to do and schedule your life and get a routine started.
Yeah.
Right. And now that you're at college, you have that routine. You drive to the parking lot, you get here, you know, you already know your routine.
Yeah.
And you leave early enough so that if there's a traffic jam or an accident, which apparently there's always accidents on the way to UTEP, right? You know your routes around, right?
Yeah.
So, and then last night, we were coming back from the Art Space Galleries. We had that exhibition over there with Stream 915. And I took Connor a way I don't think he's ever been before. The same neighborhood he's driven in, but literally just a street over. And he's like, I've never been here. And he starts driving. And he's like, I don't know where I'm at. And all of a sudden, he's like, oh, I know where I'm at. You know, and that's how I think of that as life. Okay, because there's more than one way to get there. You know, that you might think it's one way now. And like Trina says, I have a plan right now. No boyfriend since birth. I still love that in BSB. I love it. And she has her plan, but it might change down the road. Whatever that plan is, we don't know. You know, whatever's going to happen is going to happen. And as she gets older, who knows? Same thing with you, same thing with me. We never know where we're headed, but we have a plan. We have an idea what we want to do. And that's very important.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's very important, you guys. I'm sorry, you guys. In El Paso, allergies are horrible, and it's, you know, what can I say? I'm not doing well. You want to have that work-life balance and manage your time and energies to avoid burnout. And last night, I was talking to Connor about the podcast and everything we're doing to get this off the ground. And I asked you, how was it that I asked you? I said, how do you think I'm obsessing about this too much? Right? Is that what I asked?
Something like that, yeah. I think you were asking. Yeah, no, you're like, am I like obsessing over this too much?
And the answer is yes. But I asked him, am I stressed? He asked me, are you stressed? And I said, yes, of course I'm stressed. But there's this term called eustress. It's spelled EUSTRESS. And that is actually a good stress. For example, if I won the lottery, well, let's talk about stress real quick. Stress is a biological, physical, and emotional reaction to a situation. That's what it is. It's a reaction. If I told you, well, in this, let me think of another example. I always say when someone dies, I'm not going to use that example. You just failed a course in college. What are some physical symptoms you would have?
Depression.
Well, that's
anxiety.
emotional. That's emotional. Physical, how is your body going to react? If I tell you right this second, you're not passing my class, do you feel that knot in your stomach?
A
Do you feel the
little,
stress?
but not really.
You would just take it straight like no big deal?
A little bit.
Okay. See, I wish people would be like this. He lets water roll off his back. You know, a normal person, and I say normal because there's no normal, would get tense in their stomach. They might start sweating. They might have the heart palpitating a little bit, right? Because it's stressful. But then again, that's the distress. That's the bad stress. But if I just told you won $1 million, your body is going to react the same exact way. It's not going to know the difference. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So even though you have good stress or bad stress, eustress or distress, you are going to feel the same physically. Emotionally, your brain is going to say, this is good, this is bad. That's different, okay? But behaviorally, how do you respond to stress? Okay. There's things that we talk about, your eating habits, sleeping habits, your sex drive, your libido, your activities. What are things that are changing when we talk about behavior changes, right? If you're stressed out, whether good or bad, you might not be hungry. You're not hungry. You might want to eat more snacks, right? You know, if you're sleeping at night. I'm older. I don't get that many hours of sleep. Last night we went to bed around 11:30 or 12, I think. I woke up this morning at 6:30. I was great for me. Okay, I slept the whole night. I didn't wake up in the middle of the night. That's a big deal, right?
Yeah.
Now, when I'm stressed with planning for the podcast and all those things I'm trying to do, I'll wake up in the middle of the night and be like, oh man, I got to do this. I get a list of things I got to do. And I'm able to make that list, and then I go back to sleep because you got to get it out of your head. Remember, physical, emotional, and behavioral. Emotionally, mentally, you got to get that stressor out of it, right? And when you're dealing with stress, the pressure can be good if you know how to manage it. You know, one thing I'm doing is we're having that stream915.com channel where we're going to have our own channel on there, and I want to do extra content for that. I want to do different things like behind the scenes, whatever the case may be. And we have that in the works. You're going to see this show changing a little bit. We're not going anywhere. We're still going to be here, but you'll see the way that we do the show is just going to change a little bit. And that's taking a lot of my planning, you know, and I've said it before and I'll say it again. Since June 9th, when I decided to do this, to now, it's going on 4 months. And I've worked on this almost every day, right? At least 1 or 2 hours every day, if not hours and hours. And the hard work's paying off, and we're getting somewhere with it. And now, like Trina, she came upon our feed all the way from the Philippines. You know, it'd be really cool if we start getting students from all around the world being part of this. That just would be so amazing, you know. And as we do this, the stress is good. It's not too much. It's not overwhelming. I am obsessing about it because this is my life right now. I don't have to worry about you anymore. I think about that. I worry about you all the time. And not this bad. I want to make that clear, but you were my worry. Once you graduated, you turned 18, I don't have to worry about you anymore. You know, it's your life, right? And it's interesting because I'm doing this and I'm enjoying it. This is fun for me. Now, have I neglected my social life, my friends? And yes, I have. And that's where the problem is. That social life has decreased. So be aware of those things when you're under stress, your physical, emotional, and behavioral reaction to it. Okay. And then based on that, you have a physical, emotional, mental, or spiritual way of dealing with things. Now, for example, if I'm stressed out physically, Connor, what's one way to get physical stress out?
Sleep.
No.
That's what I would do.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, the normal person. If you have physical stress, you want to hit something. You want to go out and beat something
Like
up.
that?
You want to lift
Okay.
weights. You want to go for a run, go for a walk, ride your bike, do something physical to wear off that physical stress. Okay. Going to sleep. Okay. That's just your way of avoiding the stressor.
Yeah. And it helps. It really does help.
Avoiding? It doesn't go anywhere.
I go to bed at like 4 because I'm so stressed, and I wake up at like 3 in the morning.
And then what?
That's it. I get a long good nap, longer sleep.
Right, but your homework's not done. You haven't studied. You've done nothing at the house. You haven't interacted with me. You haven't eaten dinner. How is that good?
Because I did my work at school.
No, well, I'm saying when you go to sleep, you're avoiding eating. You're avoiding interactions with people. You're avoiding doing stuff. That's not good.
Well, yeah, but I have a lot of stress, and I don't want to deal with all that. So I just sleep it off.
But it's still there when you wake up.
I know, but that's just what I do.
Yeah, that's not healthy.
It helps me out.
That's not healthy.
Okay, I don't care if it's healthy or not.
That's what you do. And it's your life, but I'm trying to give you some advice here,
No,
Wait. No.
no.
Yeah, he doesn't take my advice too much. Although in the long run, I'm usually right. Out of my advice, what percentage do you think I've given you good
Right.
advice?
Don't ask me about percentages. I don't know.
Okay. So how many times out of 10 have I been right? Or out of 100?
8 out of 10.
So 80, 85%? Okay, that's not bad.
Not.
That's a pretty good record. So maybe you should listen.
No.
Well, if he doesn't listen, you guys definitely listen, please. Be aware of this stuff, you guys.
You okay?
Yeah, it's allergies.
Do you want allergy pills?
I'm not going to take an allergy pill right now. I'm in the middle of a show.
Okay, I meant after, Sean.
Of course, I'm going to take it after.
Okay.
I didn't take it last night because I fell asleep. That's why I'm at like this morning. But going back to the discussion of stress, all right, you might get forgetful. That's why it's so important to keep things written down. You want to keep yourself scheduled. You want to have a routine. All of that helps when you have stress because it matters. And one thing I want to tell you guys about relationships, just another piece of advice here, is the 5-kiss rule. When you're in a relationship, have 5 kisses. 1, when you first see each other in the morning. 1, if you leave to work or the first time you separate. 1, when you come home from work. 1, when you go to bed. And 1 extra one in between. 5 kisses a day. And I'll tell you right now, you do the 5 kisses a day, your relationship will get better because even when you have a fight, that routine of 5 kisses a day is hard to break. And that helps you get through the fight a lot faster. Okay? So be aware of that. 5 kisses a day. And that's my relationship advice for the day. Now, when we're talking here about stress and all that, we talk about extracurricular stuff. You want to have that balance with work and life. Okay? You want to have that balance with work and life. And now, let's get a real example of this. In our segment, play a story from the fire.
Diego works 10 hours a week at a grocery store. He learns customer service, budgeting, and time management. His classmate Priya volunteers at a hospital and discovers a passion for healthcare. Both paths are valid and valuable, and both experiences are great for a resume.
All right, so Diego gets a job working 10 hours a week, budgets his money, learns customer service, pretty good. Then you have Priya, who volunteers at a local hospital and discovers that she has a passion for healthcare. Who says what's right, what's wrong? Nobody. Everyone is different, you guys. Diego was able to manage getting a job and working. There's some people, and I'm going to talk about this because it's important. When you get financial aid, the income you make affects your financial aid. So some people are like, I'm not going to work so that I can keep getting financial aid. Okay, I understand that. But you also need that experience of working, you guys. And if you don't want to jeopardize your financial aid, volunteer your time. Do that kind of stuff so that you can actually go out there and get some of the skills that you can learn. Okay, like Priya, for example, she went out there and volunteered in a hospital and decided she's like,
I'm sorry. Priya or Trina?
Priya. That's my story with the fire.
Oh,
It's two examples of my story with the fire.
sorry. It's because it cut
Diego and
out for
Priya.
me. Okay. I heard Diego and never
Okay.
mind. Continue.
And volunteering and doing things. Now, what's funny is I asked Connor, I have an event next week in Halloween market here at the Coliseum with Kaleidoscope Markets. And I told Connor, you want to go with me? And you can hand out candy to the kids. And he goes, I don't like to do that anymore. Because
Because I'm a grown adult.
you don't like handing out candies to kids. You don't
No.
want to be that creeper going, hey kid, you want a lollipop?
Okay.
You know, Connor has been with me doing all my events, and I've dragged him along everywhere I went because I had no one to take care of him. But he also had a lot of fun at those events. Now he's grown up and he has different lifestyle, different interests. Nothing wrong with that. But you would say, what's so important about handing out candy? It's not about doing the job. It's about that kid getting that lollipop, their reaction, them getting something from you. And you know this. Okay, it didn't work in the way where, like with Priya, who volunteered and wanted to do healthcare. You have volunteered and realized I don't want kids. Right? Has that attitude changed any?
No.
No,
Not
not right
really.
now, right?
No.
Okay, yeah. And do you have any pressure for me to have a family and the kids?
No.
No. Okay,
I
I'm not saying you
I
got
don't
to give
I
me a
don't I
big
don't think
grandpa.
so.
What's that?
I don't think so.
I don't think I've ever told you.
Okay.
Like I told Trina, you don't have to have a relationship. I'm okay with that. And I'm okay not being a grandfather and letting the Murphy line die with you.
Okay. That's
Go donate your sperm, Connor. Make some money
no,
and get that
no,
Murphy line blood
no,
keep going somewhere.
no.
That's that's more fun than donating plasma. Come on, 6 minutes. Oh my God. Anyway, back to the show. Um, yeah. So the thing is, volunteering gives you an exposure to something that you may find you like, or in Connor's case, not like. And he's great with kids, you guys. Just so you know, he's really great with kids and loves being around kids. He's a huge advocate for pets. He loves his pets, right? You love dogs, you love all that stuff. So you're able to do things, right? And what's interesting is as you volunteer, as you work, you do things, you learn things. When you were working, do you think you learned any skills that you can think of?
When I was working,
Yeah. Did you learn any skills that are going to help you later in life?
time management,
Okay.
that was honestly it. And
No.
teamwork.
Teamwork, yeah. But that's not it. I asked you one time, can you go do the dishes?
Okay, I mean, I guess that
Right.
works. Yeah.
But there's people at work that have never washed dishes. There's people that never had a mop, never had a broom, never had a sweep. And one thing for all my vets out there, all my vets, listen up. Okay, you're gonna love this story. It's gonna remind you of boot camp. Have you ever used a buffer?
What's a buffer?
The machine that was and you buff the floor back. Yeah, okay. You had carpet at your studio, so it wasn't, but a buffer is this machine that has a spinning head on it.
Oh,
And the way you manage it is you lift up to put pressure on the brush a certain angle and it goes to the right. You push down, it goes to the left because based on the circulation of the brush. But the first time you turn it on, that brush starts spinning. You try to control it, slamming against the wall here. Every vet out there right now can tell you. If you have a vet next to you, turn and ask them and say, "Tell me a story about a buffer," and they will tell you this is a story. Everyone has a story. One story that vets love to tell is that guy who tried to kill himself with a buffer. The buffer, is you go down the hallway and they have these very long extension cords because they're made for businesses, right? You can buff the whole hallway, so it's a huge extension cord. And the story goes that this guy tried to kill himself, tied the cord around his neck, and threw the buffer out the window, hoping it would kill him. And the story goes that the buffer hit the ground before it pulled on him, and he got charged with destruction of government property. Now, I'm not making fun of suicide in any way, shape, or form, you guys. All right, trust me. I played the song 22-0, Make 22-0 Again by Ryan Stevens. You guys, if you are suicidal, get some help, talk to somebody, dial 988, then press 1, get with a veteran counselor. But I'm not making fun of suicide in any way, shape, or form. It's very tragic that people are suicidal. But the story is about the buffer. And it's just one of those things that every veteran has those two stories. You can ask them about it and you'll see. You can check that out yourself and you'll see I'm right. You know, but that buffer, so I'm never going to learn how to use a buffer. You know, you've never had to. But if you ever do, remember, hold it tight and don't put pressure down or don't put pressure up. Just hold it in spot where it's at when you turn it on. And you won't get that thing slamming all over the place. Piece of advice for everybody, how to use a buffer. Right? Because there's some people out there right now laughing, you know. Yeah. Excuse me. If you had a story like that, please jump in the chat and share it with us, you know. But you know, let's get to the nitty-gritty. We're gonna come back and talk about the heat map.
It's time for a break. Hot Takes with the Murph Man will return after these messages.
There's a hotel window, many floors above. What's missing down there is love. Thinking through the smoke that fills my mind. Don't worry, it's not my first time. Adios, amigo. I'm so glad I seen you. Seeing you around. Adios, amigo. I've been looking for you since I stepped foot in this town. They say it's all inside, heaven and hell. What happened to that angel when he fell? Give it just one try. Tell me you don't like it. Be God for a moment and don't despise it. Adios, amigo. I'm so glad I seen you. I won't be seeing you around. Adios, amigo. I've been looking for you since I stepped foot in this town. Step outside and breathe. Play a little in the street. Hope it's not me they're sending. Move on from over there. Give the kids a little scare. Oh, these fences, they need mending. Adios, amigo. I'm so glad I seen you. I won't be seeing you around. Adios, amigo. I've been looking for you since I stepped foot in this town.
Before we jump back in, a quick reminder of where to find us. For all the short clips and highlights, make sure you're following us on social media. You can find all the show details on our website, purehottakes.com. And for full show replays and exclusive premium content you won't hear anywhere else, be sure to subscribe at Stream.
Here is the heat map, which gives you some actionable steps you can take immediately to help you choose your path. Reflect on your goals. Are you saving money, building skills, or exploring interests? Your choices should align with your priorities. Start small. Try a club or short-term volunteer project before committing to a long-term job or leadership role. Track what you enjoy and what drains you. This self-awareness will help you make better decisions for your time.
That's right, you guys. You got to go out there, choose your path, and reflect on your goals. That, going back to one of our first episodes, we talked about Stephen Covey and beginning with the end in mind. Have a goal, measurable, realistic, and observable. All right. You want to have that so you can go out there and know where you're going, know what you want to do. You know, like Trina was talking about doing hospitality management. She wants to go and work in, like, say, Japan and do stuff there, you know. So it's one of those things that you need to know where you want to go so you can get there. Okay, start small, try a club, volunteer, you know, try different jobs. You never know. I worked at Taco Bell. I don't know. I don't know how long I was working at Taco Bell. It was only a few months, and the reason, well, hold on, let me digress here. I got a quick story I want to share. We worked at Taco Bell, and one night the manager brought some beer in, and we were eating tacos, drinking beer, and cleaning up and just taking our time. We had clocked out, you know, we were just partying, so to speak. Well, the owner drove by the store, saw it open like at 2:30 in the morning, walked in, fired the manager, and just told us to go home. And after that, I just felt weird working there, and I quit, you know. But yeah, you know, so I worked at Taco Bell, and I told myself after that experience, I'm never doing fast food. I am never doing fast food ever again. For those of you who do fast food, I admire the heck out of you, because you're able to do something that a lot of people can't. You know, waitressing and serving and things of that nature, that's different. Working in the back of the house, cooking the food in the kitchen, that is probably one of the hardest jobs I've ever done. And one of the things that I hate doing is cleaning out of the grease trap. That's what we did in the Army when on KP duty, kitchen patrol. You don't want to do these jobs. There's people out there that do them. Thank you for doing them. They need to be done. I told myself I could never do that again. And I'll never do a job like that again, unless I open up a restaurant bar that I want to do, and then I'll learn how to do all that stuff again. You know, but I'll be paying someone to do it for me. Yeah. You know, that's one of those things I want to do. I have a goal to open up my own restaurant. It's not a really big goal. It's just, it's there, and if it happens, great. If it doesn't, oh well, you know. But that was before I started this podcast. So maybe I don't need to start another business, you know. And when we're talking about the heat map, okay, it's know where you're going. That's why it's called the heat map. But you know, you're gonna make some mistakes, and that's what we call we talk about in the segment where you'll get burned.
Let's talk about where you'll get burned. These are some common pitfalls.
Overcommitting. Spreading yourself too thin is a recipe for burnout. Choose what fits your bandwidth. Comparing paths. Your journey is unique. Focus on your own growth, rather than comparing your path to others. Thinking one path is better. All experiences build value. A part-time job teaches financial skills, while a club teaches leadership.
That's exactly right, you guys. You know, there's a few pitfalls you're going to do. One thing you don't want to do is overcommit. You don't want to overcommit, because when you overcommit, you're going to get burned out and you're not going to want to do anything. Okay. I have a friend right now. She's started a new job, making pretty good money, and it's a great job. And then she decided, I'm gonna start a doctorate program at the same time. And I was like, no, don't do that. I said, get used to your job first. You don't want to burden yourself with too many things, be realistic. You know yourself better than anybody. And you got to be real with yourself. When you talk to yourself, do you tell yourself, I can or I can't? And if there's any doubt, don't do it. You want to be able to go out there and discuss this with everyone. All right. You want to go out there and have whatever you want to do happen. Okay. Now, what's interesting though is your friends might see it very differently. Your friends might be saying, "Hey, we don't have this," or whatever the case may be. We don't have this desire. We don't have that goal. That's fine. They have their own life. You do you, boo. That's one of my favorite phrases. You do you. You know, don't compare your friend's path with yours. Even you have some people that are excelling, and you want to catch up to them. That's not you. Don't let it happen. Not a big deal. Okay. And also stop thinking that only one path is better than the other. Any experience helps you become a better person and more well-rounded. That's one of those things that you got to be aware of. And it's not about the now, it's about the later. You want to think later, you want to be planning your goals, you want to be able to do all that stuff and get out there and do it. The plan, everyone has the plan. No one has a plan, right? In reality, no one ever has a plan. Stuff happens and we just go with it, right? But you got to have an overall plan of where you want to go. If you're in a relationship, you want to say, do I want to marry this person right now or not? I was in a relationship and I told myself, I don't like the relationship too much, but this person I'm with, we could start a business together and everything and do something. That's what it was about. It wasn't like, I love you so much, I want to get married. It was like, yeah, let's be pragmatic about this. Let's get together, form an alliance, and work together and build a business. You know, but yeah, I couldn't deal with some things about her, so we broke up. The plan again changed. Okay, but anytime you're in a relationship, people say, how long should you be in a relationship before you get married? I'm just curious, since you've never been married, how long do you think you should date someone before you start thinking about marriage?
2-3 years.
Years?
I don't know. I feel like, yeah.
Have you ever met someone, and be honest, okay, that you meet them and you're like, oh man, this is an amazing person.
Yeah.
I want to date this person.
Yeah.
I could see myself spending the rest of my life with this person.
Yeah.
Why wait 3 years?
Because you never know what's gonna happen.
You got to get to know the person, right? That's why they invented divorce. One thing that annoys me is people live together, okay, and then they get accounts together and they start paying things together, and it gets really enmeshed, and that doesn't always work well. Okay. But if you plan and you say, okay, let's get to know each other and feel comfortable with each other, ask questions so that there are no surprises. And you got to be honest, and that's another thing. How long before you're honest with somebody in a relationship? Like I was telling Trina earlier in the show, I really don't care about getting married or anything. I'm going to be honest from the very beginning and tell you, after I lost my wife to cancer, I don't want to fall in love again. I don't, not right now. You can change that, make a difference in my life, and maybe I'll fall in love with you, but I'm not going to love you because I just, the love of my life is gone. So if someone gets into a relationship with me, they know that up front. Now they say, well, here's another thing. You guys, I'm on, dating apps and stuff. And I'll meet someone, they're like, I want to get married. That's my goal. And I'm like, that's not mine. And I said, it might change later, but right now, That's not what I want. So when I'm talking to them and I tell them I don't want to get married, then I don't even want to bother starting a relationship. That tells me they're not going to put any effort into a relationship. They're not willing to do the work it takes to get there. Same thing with college students trying to enter colleges. You got to show them you're willing to put the work in to do something with what they're going to give you, meaning the degree. You know, so think about that. Look at all the experience you have, see what builds value, and go from there. And with those tips in hand, I think it's time to put them to use in what we call the afterburn. It's
In today's Afterburn, here are some questions for you to reflect on.
What do I want to learn or gain from this experience? How much time can I realistically commit? What energizes me and what exhausts me?
And then,
So, yeah, what do you want to learn again from the experience? I've been talking about that specifically. The more specific, the more realistic, the more observable, the more measurable. All that is so important when you're setting your goals. How much time do you have to do this? Again, I go back to starting this podcast. I have all the time in the world. I have, relationships and dating and whatever. And my partners have been very understanding. My friends have been understanding. It's something I'm trying to get off the ground, and it's my life right now. But how much time should I commit to it coming up? I'm already at the point where I got the habit of everything. I think 2 hours on a Sunday, and the rest is just all automatic. Unless I decide to do like an extra event or something, extra show, or So I've gotten to that point where I planned, I followed through, and I'm here now. You know, um, and lastly, is when you're in college, what can you do that will not affect your grades and not cause you to be burned out? What will that energize you? What will exhaust you? Those are so important to know. Because sometimes you think, hey, this is what I want to do, and you end up doing it, and you realize, nope, that's way too much to do. That is way too much to do. So when you're planning, know what you want to do to get there, think about it, okay? But we're going to talk about how you can get where you can get these resources to help you prevent from getting burned. They're called the heat shields.
Here are your heat shields that will keep you from getting burned. Don't overcommit. Be realistic and choose what fits your available time and energy. Don't compare your path to your friends' paths. Focus on your own growth. And stop thinking one path is inherently better than another. All experience, when reflected upon, builds value.
That's what we've been talking about. I just want to reiterate all of that. Okay, it's very important. Okay. When you think about the heat shields, there's a book called Do What You Are by Paul Tiger. It's great at connecting your personality to career paths. In episode 11, which is in 2 weeks, we're going to be doing a thing called the career interest game, where we take Collins' theory and we match your personality to a job. And so come back for that in 2 weeks, and we'll definitely talk about that, because learning what jobs your personality fits is very important, because you might have an interest in, I don't know, accounting and numbers and math and all that, right? Then you start doing accounting and you realize it's a job you do by yourself. You don't do it as a team, and you're like, I need to be social with somebody. I need to talk to people. And that's not the job that I want. So what Hollins does is it matches your personality and the job, not whether you're going to like the job or be able to do the job. It's just your personality matches the job. And I'll give you the example I always tell people. A mortician, a person who works in a funeral home. Okay. Unfortunately, I've had to deal with this so many times in my life, but the mortician, this is what I call them, but a funeral director, someone who works at a funeral, what kind of personality do you think they have?
Sad.
Sad? Okay. Because they have to deal with all this, right? What if I told you they're one of the best people to party with? Well, would you believe me?
No.
Hear me out. They deal with so much negative stress and stuff going on with all these families that they have to deal with that they have to go and let loose and relax and just let it out. So I'll tell you right now, if you want to make friends, go hang out at a funeral home or at a bar near a funeral home, and you'll make some friends from the funeral home. And who knows, when you die, maybe your family will get a discount. By the way, do you know how much a funeral costs nowadays?
No.
Bare minimum, $8,000.
Okay, I was gonna say 10,000. Wow.
10,000 is probably a better number. But that's bare minimum. That's bare minimum, $10,000.
God.
Yeah. You know, I've always said when you die, I get paid. You know, it's to pay for your funeral, the 10,000, right? When I die, you get much more than that. But you got to pay for my funeral. That's an understanding, right?
Yeah.
You're not just gonna take my money and be like, I don't care what happens to my dad's body. All right. Another thing you can do is you can go to volunteermatch.org and it will help you find local opportunities. You know, you may not know what you want to do in volunteering. You may just want to know, I want to do something, you just don't know what. So you do that. And we have a comment. What is it? I can't read it.
It's one of those like.
Oh, spam?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that. I try to make the show interactive, you guys. So someone writes in the chat. That's how we got to know Trina, you know. But anyway, you look into volunteermatch.org and you can do that. When we come back, we're gonna come back with our final burn and see if we talk to Trina one more time to review the show.
It's time for a break. Hot Takes with the Murph Man will return after these messages.
At Military Broadcast Radio, the goal is to offer a platform for mental health advocacy while connecting the military community through various media platforms. Founded by U.S. Army veteran Joel Hunt, MBR gives a voice to veterans, first responders, and their families through streaming radio, podcasts, video, and outreach events. With its leadership run completely by veterans and hosts of the diverse programming from all branches of service, MBR was created as a response to the silent battles veterans face after service. Military Broadcast Radio is also a Wreaths Across America partner, hosting a $5 back sponsorship group page. For every veteran's wreath sponsored through the Military Broadcast Radio page, MBR receives $5 back to help support their platforms and outreach. Veteran and first responder stories need to be told and shared. And with your support, MBR can continue to bring together veteran nonprofits, mental health organizations, and government agencies to bridge the gap between veterans and vital resources. To find out more and donate, visit wreathsacrossamerica.org/MBR.
Before we jump back in, a quick reminder of where to find us. For all the short clips and highlights, make sure you're following us on social media. You can find all the show details on our website, purehottakes.com. And for full show replays and exclusive premium content you won't hear anywhere else, be sure to subscribe at stream915.com.
The final take from today's discussion is, remember, whether you're bagging groceries or building robots, if you're growing, you're winning.
All right, that's right. Whether you're bagging groceries or building robots, if you're growing, you're winning. Remember that. That is the final burn for today's show. Now Trina's back. Trina, how we doing?
I'm doing fine, and it was nice, and all of your topic and all your opinions and discussions are very helpful, and I see that it really applied to us students.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. You know, was there anything in particular that stood out to you?
Yes, that one part that choosing what makes you happy, and we cannot really expect what would happen, what will be happen in our life in the future. But as long as you believe in yourself and you're doing good and you have a time management, everything's good. That's what I get. I think my overview from what you said, Workman.
That sounds good. I think that sounds really good. Now, let me say this. When you're happy, because of what you're doing. Your happiness does not depend on anyone else. All right. You don't have to tell someone if they're having a bad day, I'm unhappy. Now you can be sad for them and everything, but don't let that change who you are. Don't have your happiness tied into someone else because sometimes they're just power drainers, vampires. They'll suck you dry and leave you, and you don't want to do that. You want to make sure you have people in your life that are adding to it. I can tell you, in my life, it's not just overnight, but when I decide to do it, I don't go back. I don't have that friend anymore. I don't interact with that person anymore. They're done, you know, because I don't need those blood sucking vampires in my life, you know. So I'm glad you guys,
Yes.
and I hope everyone else did too. Now that actually ends the education part of the show. We got about another 10 minutes, maybe 15. I want to talk a little bit about how we started the podcast. So Trina, if you want to stick around for that, you're welcome to. But right now,
Sure.
that's all I have for the educational part. Thanks again, and you're welcome to join us anytime you like. You know, so we're here. You got our way to contact us. You can email us or check us out on social medias. And
Sure.
if you want to stick around, you're welcome to. Okay.
Yes, thank you for that. Thank you for inviting me, and it's my pleasure. And actually, this is my first time to be invited by people like you are very professional in
Well,
terms
thank you.
of academics. I can say that you guys are really giving a good time to your viewers, and I think you deserve a praise for that.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Let me do this.
Yes.
What? You don't like that, Connor?
No, no.
Why not? Should we do this one? Thank you very much, Trina. I appreciate it.
I
All
appreciate
right.
it.
So let me talk about a little bit about what's going on now that you're going to be seeing stuff. So, uh, starting with 915, stream915.com, we're going to be doing our live shows here, and you can catch us on YouTube, Twitch, MBR Talk, MBR Radio. You can catch us on everything you're seeing us on right now. You can also go to my website, purehottakes.com, and you'll see all our social medias there. And you can catch us live every Saturday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Then after, I will post it to stream915.com where you can catch all the replays. So make sure if you're watching us, you watch us here Saturdays at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right. I'm sorry, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you want to get more information, you can go to our social medias. We have clips coming out. You'll see them. Right now, the clips are coming out in order. So we have episode 1, 2 coming out, and then 3, 4, 5. One every day we have 5 clips from each episode plus a recap, and we have that going for the next week. If you're in social media, you're gonna be seeing a whole bunch of our posts. Sorry about that. I'm trying to promote everything and get my information out there so you can see it. But also, once I do that, the way it'll work is I will post the replay on 915.com, or stream915.com, and then I will post my clips on social media, so you can see the clips one a day. We have the recap every Sunday of the show, and also we're going to be starting a local section or segment where we talk about all the things going on in El Paso that I want to be part of. Once I get all this stuff up, I'm trying to get someone to come on and be a speaker and interview them. I have other counselors and teachers that are going to be coming in as well. So our show's going to be a lot more interactive than it has been. I'm looking forward to that.
She wants to ask something.
Oh, she does? Okay, hold on. Add her.
Wow. She's already on stage. That's why.
Okay. All right, go ahead, Trina. You have a question?
I know. For so far, I'm just asking, what country are you from? Or the pure hot takes?
What country am I from?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm in the United States.
Oh.
You are 8,000 miles away from El Paso.
Okay. Thank you. I'm just curious about because, like, I just realized that that I am here, but I didn't even know what country are you guys from. That's
Yeah,
it.
we're here in the USA, here in El Paso, Texas.
Oh, okay. Thank you for that.
No, you're welcome. You're welcome. Yeah, feel free to ask any questions, but the thing is, like with social media, right? Trina, you've emailed us, you've went on social media, you've seen the clips we have, right? You've seen the segment we call From the Embers, which is our recap of the show. I have those like on TikTok. They'll be coming out. Different social media, we have different things posting. So you'll get all the recaps, all the highlights. Like for example, today, I don't know what highlights we're gonna have, Trina. You might be on our highlights. Look for those on YouTube Shorts. Okay. They'll be up there soon. And then they'll also be up on Instagram and everything else soon as well. Okay. So you might see yourself, and who knows? Maybe people around the whole world are going to get to see your clip and start donating to your organization. And it can be because of you. You know, you're also welcome to invite friends if they want to come in and participate as well. You can do that. Like I said, it'd be really cool to have people from all over the world participating, because the advice I'm giving is mostly for the United States, but the skills and everything that I have is applicable to any part of anyone's life in any country. And if needed, I can do it in Spanish. No, I can do a whole podcast in Spanish. You would just be sitting there going, I don't know what's going on, right?
Yeah, we don't understand anything.
Yeah, believe it or not, Spanish is my first language. And last night I surprised somebody speaking Spanish, and they were just like, "What? When do you speak Spanish?" I'm like, "I've always spoke Spanish. It just, And like Trina's learning Japanese. Now, ni hao, what's that mean?
Nihil is from Chinese, from China.
Oh, that's Chinese.
Yes.
Oh, and then sheshe is Chinese. I know that much.
Yes, yes, yes.
Sushi. No,
Sushi is a food from Japan.
I know.
Yes.
Hey, let me tell you. I don't know if you have this in the Philippines. You guys have the ocean near you, but here in the United States, one of the things that's taking off is all-you-can-eat sushi bars.
Yes.
So that's something that I love, and we have one place we go to that is really good here in El Paso. When we were in Vegas, we went to one, and I had never eaten sushi. Like, well, let me rephrase that. I eat sushi at buffets, right? But to actually go and order a sushi roll, I didn't know what I was ordering. My brothers, I texted them the menu, right? And they're like, order this, order this. One of them was a rainbow roll that has different kind of fish and different kind of vegetables, and it just has everything, nice, beautiful presentation, and it was so good. And now when I go to the restaurants, I order the variety of sushi rolls, But one thing I've learned is I don't like tempura.
Yes, tempura, same. And also, I don't like that wasabi. It was too spicy.
Well, now you're in culinary arts and hospitality management. I got to ask you,
Yes.
do you use real wasabi or horseradish?
We use real wasabi because horseradish is only can be used in specific food, so that the food will give great taste and texture.
Well, did you know that a lot of people substitute horseradish for wasabi? It's not just
Yes.
horseradish, but they make it call it wasabi, but it's actually horseradish.
Yes.
They got to grind it, and yeah, people don't do that. And so, if you want to know if a place is real, ask them if it's real wasabi. And then, since you eat sushi, right? Do you dip
Yes.
it in soy sauce before you eat it?
Yes, because soy sauce it gives more flavor to the sushi.
People don't realize that you're supposed to dip sushi in soy sauce before you eat it.
Yes, that's
There's little
true.
things like that. Maybe one day we can do an episode and we can talk about culinary arts and all the ways to eat different foods.
Sure.
Here in El Paso, we do a lot of Tex-Mex. We do a lot of tacos and enchiladas. And what I tell people is it's the same food, just prepared differently. The same meat. We can make it in a taco. We can make it in a burrito. We can make it in a gordita. It's the same meat, right? Um,
Yes.
and enchiladas, it's one of those things that you have. I had a restaurant, and they were a Mexican restaurant. It was so funny because they had the same meat. They actually had steak, right? It was the same steak prepared in a same steak. They made one steak, but they served it like 7 different ways. And I was like, okay, it was good steak, so I didn't mind eating there. I don't know if that place is still open or not, but yeah. So culinary arts, interesting.
Yes, very interesting.
What's your favorite food to eat?
What food?
Yeah.
It's a Tagalog food or Filipino food. It's called adobo.
Is that fish?
It's a pork, a
Okay.
sweet and salted pork that has that use belly fat of the pork.
And that's adobo?
Yes.
Oh, that's what you like, Hunter. You like adobo. He's showing me a picture of adobo. That's the reddish pork meat that you like. Yeah. So yeah, okay. So again, we go back to before the show started, we were talking about the colonization of Philippines, and I told her, I said, Spain colonized you, and you have a lot of traditions in Spaniard tradition, Mexican food, right? And
Yes.
the adobo is actually something we eat here in El Paso. So yeah, when I said fish, there's a fish plate. I can't think what it's called right now, but it sounded similar to that one.
Escabetse.
Now, say it again.
Escabetse.
No, that's not it.
I think
That's a little too
okay,
long.
okay.
It's like adobo is something. It was something short, but anyway, one thing I'm trying to think what the food is. The clear noodles. What do you call them?
Pancit.
Pancit.
Or is-
Yeah, I was going to say pancit, but I know that wasn't pronounced right. Oh God, I love those with lumpia and everything. Oh, I
lumpia,
didn't-
sure.
what's that?
Lumpia, yes.
Yeah, I didn't tell you this when I was stationed in Cuba. They had government workers that were Filipinos, and they actually we could go eat there, right? And oh yeah, I love me some Filipino food. I'm telling you right now, it's really good food. If you've never had a chance to do it, it's a really good food. But Trina, that's all for today. Listeners, thank you very much. We are going to close out the show. Remember, see you next week as we come back 12 o'clock Eastern. Stick around, Trina.
Sure.
Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of Hot Takes with the Murph Man. Your listenership truly means a lot to both of us. For the latest hot takes and much, much more, be sure to visit purehottakes.com. And don't forget to follow us on social media platforms as Hot Takes with the Murph Man to stay connected and join the conversation. My take is this show is over. Thanks for listening, and I'll have more for you next time.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to Military Broadcast Radio. As we wrap up today's show, we want to remind you that the podcast of today's episode will be available right after we go off the air. So if you missed any part of the show or want to listen again, be sure to check it out. And remember, we're here to support and honor our veterans. Your story.